All right, guys, let's get into, I would say, the most disappointing kind of offensive performance of week one when considering the matchup and overall expectations. And that's right, it is Chris Allen's resident home team, the Cincinnati Bengals. So, Chris, we'll start with you, man. I mean, from a schematic standpoint, left a lot to be desired, which is typical of the Zach Taylor experience, but also Joe Burrow not pushing the ball downfield. Jamar Chase not exactly looking like the world beater we've seen him to be. Even the run game wasn't exactly, playing with fire and just catching fire, I should say, all over the place. So what went wrong, Chris, and do you think they can correct it ahead of this Sunday's date against the Chiefs?
I hope. Now, whether or not that's going to actually matter and turn it into a victory for the Bengals, I have my doubts. I think they're 6-point underdogs, since they have to head over to Arrowhead, for this weekend. But from a schematic standpoint, it does seem like a lot of the issues that were present in week one of last year are still there. I mean, they're not trying to take the shots downfield. Joe Burrow, I think it was around 5.6, 5.7 air yards per attempt, which is one of the bottom 5 in terms of all passers for week one. They're just not taking those shot plays. And I know Bengals fans, or just anybody that's rostering Jamar Chase, is going to instantly remind us that Chase had food poison, I think, on Saturday. Reports indicated, or this might have been a comment from Joe Burrow after the game was over, that he didn't even know that Jamar Chase was going to be playing until he arrived at the stadium on Sunday morning. So there was going to be some level of disconnect between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And when the team has to toss out Trenton Irwin, Charlie Jones, as your wide receivers 2 and 3, Andre Yoshivas, which we all thought was going to be the wide receiver 3, now thrust in this wide receiver 2 role with T. Higgins out with the hamstring. I mean, this is what you're going to get. Now, I will say at least a couple of the positives. It did seem like from a pass protection standpoint that the Bengals did, or the process worked for Joe Burrow. From a pass protection standpoint, Joe Burrow did have one of the lower pressure rates that he's had for quite some time. But still, we need the offense to execute. I mean, if the guys up front are doing their job, the hope would be that the passing game would be able to take over afterwards. So from a schematic standpoint, let's hope that with Chase being healthy, let's hope with a full week of practice for him and Burrow, they can start to get back and clicking what's more the intermediate shot plays that actually made that offense more explosive. And then let's hope that any one of the tight ends that they have can actually come down with the freaking football, or hold on to the football once they get inside of the red zone and actually get points on the board versus giving the ball back to the other team. But otherwise, it's going to be tough sledding going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I realize that. But if I can at least come out of week 2 thinking the offense has a chance to actually be more potent than they were in the first couple of weeks, then I'll at least be happy about that.
Chris, of course, referencing the dime to the corner of the end zone that Mike Gesicki, upon further review, did not maintain possession of. And then the very next play, Tanner Hudson rumbling into the end zone, but pulled a Travis Etienne and fumbled the ball before he could cross the plane. So, look, I thought Burrow, actually, when he did choose to throw downfield, looked pretty fine. I mean, the literally only one target he threw, Jamar Chase, more than 10 yards downfield, right down the seam, good velocity, everything looked good. The problem was it just didn't happen all that often, and maybe we got to give more credit to Jared Mayo and the schemes that he and the Patriots were able to put forward. But Chase, with one target thrown at least 10 yards downfield, only the 5th time in his career that has been the case. So, Dwayne, I mean, we've seen the Chase game-breaking moments. We saw it literally against the Chiefs defense when he went for 266 and 3 touchdowns as a rookie. We'll see if T. Higgins is out there, but are you considering moving Chase, at least a decent amount down the ranks after we saw in week 1?
Not really. I mean, it's a little bit of a tough matchup against the Chiefs, right? They're probably going to try to bracket and double Chase. We also still have this outstanding contract situation. I don't really know what to believe. Maybe Jamar Chase was sick. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he just wanted to be on the field to make sure he told that game. I'm not saying that's the case, but I don't know. So I don't know for sure what's happening. So he's a guy that's moved down a little bit for me, Ian, but he's still Jamar Chase. He's still playing with Joe Burrow. So it's how far down the ranks can you push the guy? There's no way you're going to get him out of your top 12 wide receivers. Maybe you find a way to make him a low-end wide receiver 1 for now. Maybe you have a couple of, really good wide receivers and matchups with high game totals this week that you can just bump, a spot or 2 ahead of Chase. But he's going to be in most lineups. Even if we push him down that far, he's going to be someone's wide receiver 2, right, at worst. So when I look at Jamar Chase, it's you're starting him. If he's playing, I also think this is very simple. Let's just get these guys healthy, because Zach Taylor's not competent enough to turn this around on his own. Like he doesn't punch any of the easy buttons that add fantasy points, which also just mean, guys, catches, yards, and touchdowns, which is the same thing you should be interested in if you're an NFL head coach, is what we want as fantasy managers. He doesn't do any of those things, and he has not ever done them in his career. He still doesn't do them. So you just need Joe Burrow to be healthy, and we need T. Higgins back. When you have those things, it doesn't matter. You can mask over the fact that Zach Taylor is not really adding anything to the offense, because those are three really good players. That's what the Bengals need. Once they're healthy, they will be fine.
Jamar Chase ranked no lower than 11th by our consensus, group of rankers. So we are all in agreement there. Joe Burrow is the one that is sliding down the ranks quite a bit. He is my QB 15, Dwayne's QB 16, and around the same for the rest of our rankers. So guys like Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa, fellow pocket passers that, let's face it, looked a heck of a lot better in week one and didn't have any issues, squeezing their freaking water bottle on the sideline, trusting them a bit more ahead of their more reasonable matchups as well. So maybe things could change a little bit if we do get a healthy T. Higgins out there. But yeah, please, guys, look better, because really looking forward to that matchup at, the place formerly known as Burrowhead in KC.